Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this evening's webinar. I am Roger Galway, branch manager and researcher for the Property Club. I've been with the club for a long time, for over 20 years, and presenting. I'm very excited to do this presentation. So just want to make sure. Can you please raise your hands and let me know that you can see my screen, please? I just want to make sure that my audio and my video is coming out properly. Okay, fantastic. I can see all the hands going up. So thank you so much, guys. And you'll be muted. There'll be a chance to ask some questions. So feel free. Tanya and myself will be answering some questions very shortly. Okay. It gives me great privilege to welcome Tanya Sanchez, who's one of the main marketing people from Glenville Homes, who will be presenting later on this evening. Okay. The first thing I'm going to talk about is who is Property Club. Well, many of you know who we are and have been with the club for a long time. Sometimes some of you even longer than me. But we are a group of investors, and we are real investors trying to help other investors. And whether you want to buy your first home or you buy your an investment, some of you you're looking at buying your first investment. Some of you are looking at buying many investments, or your fifth or the sixth or 10th. Okay, we're a national group all over the country, and we have investors who are experienced and act as mentors. So we're not trying to sell you something who we don't know anything about. So we, first of all, we are investors who have been through the process of investing and understanding how it works, and it's working for us, and therefore we are sharing this experience with us. Again, we have over 60,000 members, and that gives us a good bargaining power as far as when we talk to our vendors, and they know that we are coming from the way we have the right approach to what we are doing. As I said, we started in 1994. Kevin Young, as you can see him over there, right up front and center, he started the club 27 years ago in his backyard with a barbecue, and over this period of time, he has developed in a process, and this has evolved into where we are today. There's been over 20,000 properties gone through the club, and purchased by over 14,000 families in the club, which is huge. And we've also got over 5,000 people who have bought over $1 million worth of property. So yes, we are very proud of who we are and what we are doing. So why do we choose property, and why now again, there's so many other investments which there are, but why we choose property and why we focus on residential property? Well, one of the first things is because the high leverage, and what we mean by that is you can put a little bit of your money, use a lot of the bank's money, and that to buy an asset which is going to grow in value. Now, the other thing is long-term capital growth. You know, all of us know that property over the last 100 years has grown, and especially if you buy well-located property in good areas, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. But that's what long-term capital growth is going to give us with property. And again, many people, it's a myth. People think that they have to put a lot of money into to start to buy a property. No, you need a minimum cash amount, and yes, you can use that either from your equity in your own home, or there's different strategies, or the bank of mom and dad is there, or there's so many different ways you can do that. But you need minimal cash to start your investment journey. The other big thing which comes in, and then you get your rental income, which comes into your bank account every month. You know, the tenant is paying you an income which is going to help you. And that, along with your tax savings, which is fantastic, because you're able to claim that against your other income which you have, and you're able to get some tax savings, and I'll show you a little bit about that a little later. And therefore, between the tenant and your tax savings, it's hardly going to cost you anything. In fact, a lot of times it's even positive. The property becomes positive, where you don't have to put any money from your pocket. So that's fantastic. And again, there's relatively low risk. Why do we say relatively low risk? Because the banks are willing to lend you up to 90% of the value of the property. Now, I'll give you a quick example. If you want to buy shares in a bank, they will only lend you 60 to 70% of the value. Whereas here with the property, they will lend you up to 90% of that value of the property. Why? Because they are comfortable in the value of that asset, of property as an asset, and therefore they're happy to lend you the money for that. Okay, let's look at the Next slide. Now, one of the things which we do and we spend a lot of time on is research. And one of the things we say from a club's perspective, we always say, make sure that you make your decisions based on the research. And this is what I'm going to show you how we do our research. And yes, don't worry about the opinions of your family and friends and all that. A lot of times, I know when I first started, my own family was saying, no, don't do it and all that. What are you getting yourself into? But then I looked at it myself, and I did my own research, I did my own checks, due diligence, and then made sure that I was comfortable with what you're doing. One thing I always tell all my members, and many of you are online today, make sure that you're comfortable with your decision, and then go ahead and do it. Okay. What is research, and how do we do our research? We have these 13 critical factors which we use whenever we look at any property which we want to recommend to you as members. Okay, we look at things like rentability, we look at position, location is we've heard this term so many times, location, and Tanya is going to share about this particular project which we have, which we're going to talk about. Okay, we talk about cash flow, we look at the builder, we look at who's building the properties, we look at the style, we look at employment, where is the employment hubs around that development. Why? Because tenants like to live close to where they like to work. Sorry, they like to live close to where they work. So those sort of things. What's the wow factor? Then we look at the construction. What type of construction is there in the property? We look at what amenities are around, the transport, traffic and noise, shopping, value. So this is what we look at. We look at all these 13 critical factors, and we put it together, and then we look at the project and we say, will we recommend this project? Will we recommend this property? And if the answer is yes, then from a research perspective, will we do that? Now, again, without further ado, I'm going to invite Tanya now to come and talk about Yarra Bend and the property. And I'm not going to steal her thunder because I know she's got a fantastic presentation for you. So Tanya, over to you now, Tanya. I'm going to make you the presenter. Sorry, let me just go back here. And I'm going to make you the presenter now, Tanya.
Thank you.
Just give me a moment. Okay, Tanya, you can share your screen now.
Excellent. Beautiful. Thank you, Roger. I really appreciate the introduction, and thank you for having me part of your webinar today. My name is Tanya Sanchez. I'm the Relationship Manager here for Glenville Homes and Glenville Developments, and I'm really excited to share with you Yarra Bend, which is one of the world's most livable suburbs, and we're really proud of that tagline and to be able to share something unique that has been offered to Melbourne. So without further ado, I'm going to go through a couple of points here, a little bit about Glenville and who we are, our history as a builder, Yarra Bend, so our flagship master plan, which is Melbourne's most exciting inner city master plan. I'm going to talk through the master plan as a whole, Yarra Bend amenities, the reasons to invest here at Yarra Bend, what's currently selling, and then I'll hand it back over to Roger to talk through some explicit incentives, and then we can obviously take some questions following on from that. So the first thing I'm going to go through is, why should you purchase from Glenville Developments? What is the reason behind it? Well, Glenville have been established since 1958. So they're a trusted household name for over 60 years. We have multiple business units with expertise in market-leading developments, construction, bespoke luxury homes, and also turnkey investment properties. And we're one of Melbourne's most awarded builders, with thousands of homes being built across Melbourne. What makes Yarra Bend unique? So Yarra Bend obviously is our flagship master plan development. Yarra Bend offers resort-style living that prioritises wellbeing and community engagement. It's a 14-hectare community, and it offers a diverse range of homes to suit every buyer and also every lifestyle. Something that is quite unique that hasn't been offered to Melbourne in terms of its property options. There is a video which I'm going to get Roger to share with you post this webinar, because it won't actually click on from this presentation, but I encourage you to watch that. It's a 30-40 second video which tells you a little bit about Yarra Bend and what we've actually created there. The first thing I want to really talk about is the uniqueness of this site. It's not just a property, it's got a lot of history to it, which is why there's been so much attention being drawn to the site and why it's been so successful to date in terms of its selling process. The history of the site, which is a 14-hectare site, is the original Alphington paper mill site. So spanning over 14 hectares, Yarra Bend is being built on the former Alphington paper mill site, which was originally in operation over 90 years ago. The paper mill is an iconic part of Melbourne's history and something that you can be a part of as well. It's celebrating the past, and some of the mill's original structures have been converted into warehouse-style apartments, and it's a chance for you to be a part of and also purchase some investment properties that are a part of history. Yarra Bend, so it's located 6.5 kilometres from Melbourne CBD. We're a stone's throw away from Kew, and we're surrounded by some of the most affluent suburbs that surround our development, and also some of the most well-renowned schools and education. Yarra Bend is the world's most livable suburb, and we'll achieve that by 2025. And the way that we'll achieve that is based on the 6 pillars that this development was founded on. And that is health and wellness, art and design, food and entertainment, knowledge, technology, sustainability. And Yarra Bend is designed to change the way that we live, work and play. Yarra Bend's world-class amenities and proximity to the public transport, countless parks and prestigious schools puts us on track to become the world's most livable suburb by 2025, something that no other developer in the marketplace can attest to. So some of the amenities that I want to go through that are quite unique to our development is the Health and Wellness Centre. It's exclusive to Yarra Bend residents, and it has access to a 25-metre indoor and outdoor pool, state-of-the-art gym with techno gym equipment, yoga rooms, techno gym virtual studios for Pilates and also spin classes, steam room and sauna, personal training areas, massage rooms, and also an outdoor Japanese onsen spa. Another great amenity that adds so much value to Yarra Bend is the hub. And this was thought about pre-COVID, that people want to be able to live but also work very close to home. So this gives you the opportunity to have access to an exclusive business and leisure centre where you've got co-working space, bookable meeting rooms, bookable dining rooms that adjoin into kitchens, rooftop terraces with barbecue and fire pits, lounge, pool tables and private theatres. So all of a sudden you can take friends and families, or the tenants can take their friends and families outside of their apartment or their property and use access to all of these amenities. What's really exciting is also Alphington Village. So this village and the shopping centre is due to start construction next year and will be built and complete by the end of 2024. So we're not too far away. What's exciting about this village and the shopping centre is that we have already secured tenancies for Coles, Aldi Supermarket, Fitness First, Amcal Pharmacy, a childcare centre, and a range of other specialty retailers. The Artisan Food District is really the heartbeat of the whole master plan community, which is very exciting for us as developers. A new park side by destination and food. You've got food that's gourmet grocers to boutique retailers. This is the home of artisan food and experiences, and it's been curated by the chef and restaurateur Scott Pickett. For those of you that are in Melbourne, you know he's obviously very famous for some of his restaurants here in Northcote and in the northern pocket of Melbourne. We're also in talks with some of the big hospitality brands, including Carlton, United Brewery, and our aim is to create a unique social space that brings people together. So a big thing about Yarra Bend, and it's not just about securing property, but creating this community and this environment for tenants who want to obviously always want to reside there and not just live in a residential building like some of the developments have been planned. So some of the unique features, I've obviously talked about a lot of amenities, but there's so much more to Yarra Bend than what I've just spoken about. Yarra Bend has the highest ESG rating achievable in Australia, which is something obviously very unique. We have our own tech concierge, so the whole development is wired onto an app, so residents and tenants have access to look for different local community facilities, connect with their neighbours, but also have access to tech concierge and also multiple parks within the development with Wi-Fi access. They also have access to be able to wire their homes up or their apartments for home automation. Why invest in Alphington? So if you have a look at Alphington, it's a small pocket, obviously, and an infill site that's surrounded by some of the most affluent areas in Melbourne. You've got, I'm just going to move the screen down. You've got Kew, which sits at an average of 2.45 million. You've got Kew that sits at an average of 1.97. Ivanhoe at 1.65. Ivanhoe East 2.23 and Eaglemont at 2.28. So you can see how much Elphington and Yarra Bend is undervalued and the opportunity for you as an investor. When we look at the average medium unit price, once again, you see the opportunity there where Q average unit price sits at 901, Q East at 888, Ivanhoe at 742, Ivanhoe East at 778, and Eaglemont once again sitting just under $1 million, and Elphington and Yarra Bend sitting at $680,000. So huge opportunity there for capital growth. Some information about the market report. We put together some key dot points. So with increased demand, the price growth for medium housing unit has registered 6% per annum since 2010. Current vacancy rates, pre-COVID was sitting at about 1.3. Currently in the COVID market, we're still sitting at 1.64%, which demonstrates a severe undersupply of rental properties. So a lack of rental opportunities is 3%. You can see that there's a huge undersupply in Elphington. We're serviced by Elphington train station, only a couple of 100 metres away from Yarra Bend, and you've got easy access to the Eastern Freeway, which is just off Chandler Highway. We're also bordered by the Yarra River, so exclusive to us, we border 300 metres of the Yarra River. It's some of the most boutique real estate that's been offered to Melbourne. Highly regarded school zone, so within a 3-kilometre radius, you have access to 19 different prestigious schools and universities. We're located near the Parkville Employment Cluster, which obviously Roger touched on before. It's really important for tenants to be close to these type of employment clusters. Austin Health is just around the corner from us, within a 5-kilometre distance, and they obviously employ over 10% of their employees. Currently, in one of our apartment buildings, we've got about 10% that actually work already at Austin Health. Why invest in Yarra Bend? We're 62% sold throughout the master plan. We've got 281 homes that are lived in. We've got 300 properties that are due to settle between now and Christmas. So we anticipate to have another 1,000 to 1,500 residents move in to their home pre-Christmas. You'll notice by the shading that there is a lot that has been built. So what's in purple has been built. What's in blue is currently under construction and being settled. And what is in orange and also red is what's being released and future releases to come. So some still great opportunities for you. The average capital growth, this is really great to talk to. This is all factual. And the apartments have had an uplift of about 5% in the last couple of years. The townhouses and house and land, an average of 12%. We've seen maximum increase in values achieved. So most of our apartments were settled in the midst of COVID in January of this year and have resold on average for about 62,375. Townhouses 224,900, and house and land have seen an uplift of 425,000. What's currently now selling, and this is something that Roger can get into more detail with you, we can make some one-on-one appointments on site. Cubic house, we've got a range of 1 and 2 bedroom apartments, priced between $420 and $925. Some of those have sold, so this will vary based on what is available in the coming days. Petrinia House, so those that want to look at something with a bit of a heritage reference, we can certainly offer you something with a historical reference in our wet lab buildings. We've also got some exclusive lofts, which is similar to a townhouse on a lower scheme that we can showcase and walk you through the displays. And that is all for me. I think I'm going to hand it over to Roger, and I guess we can ask if there's any other questions, and happy to answer. I will just share my screen again and make you the presenter, Roger.
Yeah, I'll just take that in a moment. Okay, thank you, Tanya, for that. That was great. That was a great presentation, and we had a couple of people saying that your audio was a little bit fading out, but I think it all went off all right. And but again, I'm going to be sending this recording to everyone, and if you have any questions, feel free to go to your property mentor or contact me. Happy to help. Okay, now one of the things is which I want to just touch base on a typical cash flow. And again, many of you have seen our presentation when we do the cash flow. So I've based this on a 1-bedroom apartment costing $490,000. Okay, and I've taken the interest rate at 3%, the rent at $380. Again, we're being conservative as far as this is concerned. The total outgoings are about $4,500 per year. And again, being conservative, we are saying it's going to take 15 years to double. So based on those numbers, The outgoings, the total outgoings is $390. That includes your interest, your outgoings like your body corporate, your rates, your water, and things like that. Insurance, okay? So what comes in is in green, which is $338. That's your rent. That's your net rent, which will come into you. Now, what we like about this is your tax savings. This is where the big advantage. Your tax savings is about $100 a week. Now, I've based this on a normal average salary of about $70,000 per year. Okay, so the income you're going to get is $100 per week coming in as from a tax point of view, and then therefore this property is going to make you $48 a week. So you're going to be positive by $48 a week. So how much does the property cost you to hold? Nothing. Okay, in fact, you're going to be making just under $50 a week per week for the life of this property, which I think is fantastic. Now, if you take a doubling of cycle of 15 years, the property is going to grow in value at $450 per week. So not only you're going to get your $48 per week, but over a period of time, if you take on an average, and this is what we've done, we've averaged out your 15 years doubling cycle, it works out to $450 a week. So I think this is really, really strong from a one bedder. Okay, so now the two bedder, I'm going to talk about the two bedder in a moment. Now the two bedder, now again, I've based all this information based on a two bedroom costing $720,000. The interest rate again is 3%. The rent, we've been conservative in our rent approach, and we said it's going to cost $500 a week. And we know, all of us know, that the market is a bit soft in Melbourne at the moment, and that's fine. The total outgoings are a little more because everything is slightly higher, so it's about $6,000 per year. That includes your council rates, your owners corporation, and your insurance. And again, we've taken the 15 years doubling cycle. So yes, your outgoings are a bit more, so that's $562. Your incoming is higher, which is at $481. And then here your tax savings are $113 per week. Okay, so you're going to get more in your tax, and the cost for you to hold this property is nothing. You're going to be positive by about $32 per week, and this one is going to grow at around $665 per week over that 15-year period on an average. So as you can see, whether you buy a one bedder or a two bedder, all these properties here which we have are pretty much cash flow positive. And this is for you where you are not putting any money, where you're borrowing the full amount of money, whether it's from your equity or not. If you're going to be putting in some money, if you're putting a 10% deposit or a 20% deposit, it's going to be positive even more. Okay, so I hope that gives you an understanding about any cash flow. But again, see, please take this as a guide. If you want any particular cash flows for yourself, please contact your property mentor or let me know, and we'll run these figures for your actual scenario, because each of you will be different. Each of you have different income, each of you different tax brackets and all those sort of things. So we have to take that into consideration. More than happy to run these scenarios for your actual scene. Okay. Now I'm very excited to announce this, and thank you, Tanya, for providing these incentives. But for our club members, we've been able to negotiate some really. This is very, very a good deal for us, and this is exclusive to Property Club. Okay, we're getting a $5,000 rental top-up, which they are offering us. And because, as I said before, we know that the rental market is a bit soft over here, but we're getting a $5,000 rental top-up for all our members. We're also getting a $10,000 settlement rebate, which will be paid at settlement, right? And then also we've included they're going to be included all the blinds, and so that in itself I think is a great incentive. But Tanya has spoken to a sales director, and they've come up today. Just today, Tanya has told me that any EOI submitted in the next 2 weeks, each member will get a $2,000 Visa gift voucher. So I think that's a great incentive for us to look at doing something. Now, again, we know that the property, it's going to take a little time for it to be built, but again, you're locking it in at today's prices. Okay. So that's the incentive. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask me any. Just type in your questions over there, and we are more than happy to answer this as best as you can. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going through I'm just trying to see if there's any questions. Right. So what do we do? What do we do now? Again, based on what we have been sharing, and we've got a couple of members who have already bought properties over here, and who have actually put in their expression of interest. They're very happy with what they've seen. We are having an exclusive inspection of the display suite at Yarra Bend. So Tanya has organized this for us, for exclusively for our club members. It's going to be on Wednesday, the 24th, so which is next Wednesday. So all those people who are in Melbourne, I'm sorry, interstaters, but most probably I'll get a couple of videos which I can send around. But for anyone in Melbourne, you're welcome to attend this on Wednesday, the 24th of November, from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Now, Glenville Developments have very kindly said that they will provide some snacks and some nibbles to have, and we can have a few drinks there, have a beer, have a glass of wine, and look around the development. Tanya will be there, and she'll be talking a little bit about the actual development. And again, I'll tell you, when you see it on a presentation, it's different, but when you actually sit down and look at it, it is very, very impressive. So again, this is exclusive to club members. It is going to be a limited capacity because of COVID, we are only allowed to have so many people in there. So if you want to attend, please send me an email. My email is up there on the screen. It's roger.galway@propertyclub.com.au. First in, best dressed. We're only having a very limited amount. So please, if you're interested, you're more than welcome to come and see this. And again, if I really get too many people wanting to attend, we will try, and I'm sure I can ask Tanya if we can have another session. So please let me know if you can attend. You're more than welcome. Wednesday, the 24th of November, from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Okay, so that's what we'll be doing. Okay. Now, what we want is, now you need to take some action. I hope that today what we've given you today, between Tanya and myself, we've given you something to think about. And what we want is for you to take action. And this is what you need to look at. Okay, what do you need to do? I think what you need to look at is booking a strategy session with your property mentor. Now, again, I've said, if you don't know who your property mentor is, please let me know, and I will find out who your property mentor is. If worst case scenario, I will be your property mentor. Okay, so this is what I want you to do. I want you to have a look at it. Talk to your property mentor, because it's very important for you to go through the cash flow, go through the scenario, talk to your broker, look at all the different scenarios, and then review your own situation. And you need to understand, okay? You need to understand. People, we hear things from an investment point of view, but you got to understand what is interest only, what's the principal and interest. You know, people say that cash flow positive. What do people mean by cash flow positive? And this is where you have a one-on-one session with your property mentor, and you can you can get all these questions. They'll talk about the property club, talk about diversification. Very, very important for us. Diversification is a big part of our what you call strategy, which we do. And I know I personally myself, and a lot of you guys online also, have diversified into various different avenues, whether it's Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Darwin, Perth, Adelaide, it doesn't matter. So look at your situation, look at your own situation, and see how best you can do that. But that's what I would suggest you do today. Take some action and book a strategy session with your property mentor. Okay, Tanya, I'm going to ask them, just going to see if there's any questions now. There's a couple of questions which have come up. Just approximately around the completion date, Tanya, people who are asking, when will these properties, there are none of them are available now. What are we looking at completion date?
August 2024.
Okay, so that was middle of 2024. It will be the completion. Okay, excellent. Now, also Tanya, just covering that again, another question was with regards to apartments and all that, the growth which is there. Can you just touch a little bit? I know you shared that earlier, but can you just touch base on the growth which we have already seen in Yarra Bend?
Yes, so definitely, Roger. On average, we've seen about a 5% growth across all of our apartments on those that have been purchased pre-completion, so off the plan, to settlement. So where we're really starting to see the uplift is on completed apartments. Where we continue to see uplift is once the shopping centre goes in, and once all of the artisan food district, in terms of all the cafes and restaurants, are all in operation. So anything that is going to be purchased still has an opportunity to be buying under market value, in our opinion, once the shopping centre and all the cafes and restaurants go in, we're going to continue to see uplift in terms of price growth there in apartments.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Tanya. And one more question which I'm happy to answer was regarding the price range. Now, again, there are one bedders from around that 485 to 490,000. The one bedders range between 480, 490 till about 515, 520,000 based on where the location is. And the two bedders start from 680 till about 750,000. And then, of course, you've got your three bedders and you've got your lofts and your townhouses, which are close at the 950,000 to about 1.1 million. Now, again, there are some houses which were sold over there, and they were sold like from 1.5 to 2.1 million, which are really, really good, which have, and as Tanya says, have already got some good capital growth. So, yeah. Okay, now that's about it. There's any so we're going to finish off tonight, and I said I wanted to keep it to half an hour, so I'm glad that it's just on half an hour. So Tanya, I would like to thank you, Tanya, for taking the time. I know you've not been very well, but thank you for spending this time with us and sharing your knowledge and information about Yarra Bend. And I'm looking forward to catching up with you again next week. And thank you everyone for attending. If you have any questions, feel free to contact your property mentor or send me an email. More than happy to help you. But thank you and look forward to catching up with you at the next event. Good night, everyone.
Good night.